I'm Utipapafian, deacon and teacher for Matoka 3. Our lesson title this week is Nehemiah, the captive cupbearer, rebuilds a nation. Our printed text is found in Nehemiah 2, verses 11 through 20. Verse 17 says, "Then said I unto them, Ye see the distress that we're in, how Jerusalem lies waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach." The main thing for this lesson is, after you have prayed wholeheartedly, after you've petitioned wisely, prepare to work. See, in 605 BC, Nebuchadnezzar takes the Jews into captivity to Babylon. Jerusalem was destroyed, the temple was wiped out, and the wall torn down. After 70 years in captivity, they could return, rebuild, and restore the city. Under Zerubbabel, the first group went back and the temple was restored. Under Ezra, a second group returned and the people were reacquainted intimately with the law. Now, a third return trip is about to take place, led by Nehemiah. Nehemiah was born and raised while in captivity, had risen to a prominent position as a personal cupbearer to King Artaxerxes, but maintained his strong belief in God while in this pagan environment. Let's quickly look back to get caught up to our lesson. In chapter 1, Nehemiah attentively listened, genuinely reacted, and earnestly sought. You see, he heard the news of what was going on with the people and the city, and his genuine reaction was he wept, he mourned, fasted, and prayed to God the Father. And in his prayer, found in verses 8 through 9, he asked God to remember his word to Moses. Nehemiah knows God cannot lie. Lastly, he sought favor of the current king. But watch this. He asked the King of Kings to place the favor in the heart of King Artaxerxes. The start of chapter 2, he is before the king and the opportunity he prayed for has presented himself. He says a quick prayer, efficient but effective, pint-sized but powerful, shortened but substantial. Nehemiah asked for approved paid time off, approved letters to travel, and materials. I wish these were my words, but John Corson said these things. Nehemiah asked to be sent, to be safe, and to be supplied. Dr. Tony Evans painted this illustration. As the offering tray passed, a little girl took the tray and she put it down on the floor and she began to step into the offering plate. The usher said to her, "Honey, why are you doing that?" And she simply replied, "Because they taught me in Sunday school that my whole body is to be offered to the Savior." This little girl, she got the point. She was the one who belonged in the offering tray, and that God does not just want donations. I believe Nehemiah understood just as that little girl did. He had to offer up himself, his time, and even leadership to complete the work. Verses 11 through 15, our text. Nehemiah arrives in Jerusalem with his entourage. 3 days later, under the cover of darkness, of course, leaving behind that large crowd that came with him, at night he leaves out to evaluate the current environment. He had to see for himself what they were up against. It was good that the exiles were coming back. It was good that the temple was rebuilt, but something had to be done about the wall. With the wall down, this made them susceptible to attack and invasion. See, Nehemiah understood the saying, any captain can drive the ship, but it takes a great captain to chart the course. This simply speaks to the fact that the leader can get in front and lead, but the great leader, that is the one that prepares the plan and then execute it. Verses 16 through 8. In these verses, Nehemiah finally explains the measures that must be employed. He doesn't separate himself from the others. He counts himself as one. We are in trouble. Let us build. And then he tells them all how God orchestrated this whole thing. He orchestrated me hearing of the current time of distress that we are in. He orchestrated me coming back. He orchestrated my safe arrival, and he even orchestrated the king's funding of this return. Nehemiah captures the heart of the builders before capturing their hands to do the work. And they simply replied, "Let us start building." You and I both know once the people say, "Let's get up and build," the haters, the naysayers, and as the kids call it today, the ops, are going to say, "Let's get up and stop them from building." In verses 19 and 20, so it is in these last couple of verses, opposition arises, and the leader Nehemiah he confronts the ops head on. They were more than likely trying to lay claim to the distressed city for personal gain, but not on Nehemiah's watch. I really enjoyed reading this section, and here's why. Nehemiah knew where his help was coming from. Psalms 121 verses 1 through 2 says, "I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth." But I have to believe that he also knew what God could do. Philippians 4 and 13 says, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me." Nehemiah waited on God, worked with others, and wrestled through hardships. In closing, this leads me to my only discussion question for this lesson. When is the last time you asked God to send you, to get you there safely, and to supply you with whatever it is you need to do whatever it is he's calling you to do? It's easy to analyze, scrutinize, and talk about all the problems in our neighborhoods, our communities, our schools, this society, and even in our government. But what we really need are Christian men and Christian women who will do something about it. Nehemiah shows us what happens when such a person offers himself to do the will and the work of God. Have a blessed one.